you need to operate at the level you want to be at. So if I'm an amateur, like I'm not gonna act like an amateur. If I want to be a pro, like oh no, what is happening? Oh, that's me. There it is.
Nah, but that's kind of funny. It's like, it's like, so I know people be looking at you crazy. Like, you gotta have like a lot of humility, like, you know what I'm saying, in the gym. Because I know people like, she over here doing her thing on her. I'm like, sometimes I be thinking, like, she probably do that in the gym too. Talking about the stretch and the flex, like Arnold in there, just, you know what I'm saying. Like, what are some, like, you get some weird looks in there or what?
So I've learned that I don't like going to other gyms. So
Okay.
I go to Bull and Bear Gym in Fuquay Arena, and it is basically it is like my home away from home, and it's nice because I've been there pretty much morning, afternoon, evening, late night. I know most of the people in there; they're pretty familiar with me, so like I don't deal aside from the occasional bumblebee, as mentioned on previous episodes. Like I don't really deal with anything like super weird in that gym, so it's very comfortable. But I went to um, it was like a Fit Connect or something like that, Fitness Connection. I went to there in Fayetteville, and that was awkward. It was me and another girl that's a bodybuilder. She's a pro in figure right now. Um, we had a guy randomly come up to us and like ask us what we did for abs. Like we're in the middle of like a back day session. He just comes up and then he's like, "Well, would you mind like having like a male ab workout partner?" And her and I are just like looking at each other. And I'm like, I'm at the point where I'm about to be like, I don't go here. Like, I'm just visiting. But the look on her face, which she verified later, was exactly what I was thinking. That she was basically like sending me was like, the bitch, you tell him that. Like, I'm going to make this back day so painful. Like, once he walks away. Um, so, like, that was weird. I didn't like it. And then I went to a Lifetime Fitness, which mostly went practice posing, but I had a shoulder workout to do. Um, but we're mostly there for like posing, and then they've got a big pool, it's like a big bougie, like rich person gym. But yeah, I went to that gym, and everybody is just staring, and it's awkward. So I like to stick to my gym. I don't like to venture out.
Nah, I get it. I get it. Okay, are you still there? Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. It's typed out. Can't hear you. I can't hear you. Is it? I don't know. Is it me or is it you? Hold on. Technical difficulties.
We're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay. All right.
All right.
So you're talking about. So I think that's a great gym peeve of the week too, though, because I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, I'm also bougie when it comes to gyms as well. Because you just don't really necessarily have the setup that you want in every place. Like recently, like I've decided like probably to be done with like Planet Fitness, and it sucks because like when I go to Chicago, like it makes it easy. You get in, you get out, whatever. They always got one in every small town, every city. Here in like Champaign
Mm-hmm.
Urbana area, they have two, and so that's really tough. Like, what are some of the rigors of, because like you do a little bit of traveling here and there, what are some of the hardest parts about traveling? Is it, would you say it's the nutrition part, or would you say it's finding a gym that you're comfortable with?
Um, So really, it just depends on where you're going. I think overall, traveling nutrition is definitely the hardest part. With where I'm at now, I prep and pack all my food. Um, my husband and I, we went on a trip to Dallas Fort Worth, and we went to a thing called FitCon. And I packed all my food. Literally, my packed bag was meal prep food. Um, that I just took like a one of those like insulated bags. I measured everything out, everything into baggies, like put a bunch of like ice packs and stuff in it. We zipped it up and like checked the bag. Um, and that is a humongous pain in the ass. So I would say traveling, nutrition definitely, but yeah, the gym's always gonna be is always gonna be hard. If I can help it, what I try to do is I try to make sure I get my leg day knocked out of the way, especially if we're going somewhere that I know, like I usually check beforehand, and I know that there's not going to be a good gym around. I usually try to move my leg day so that way I get that done right before we leave, and then usually upper body you can kind of make work about anywhere. So,
Okay. Okay. You know,
but yeah,
I think
traveling's a
that
pain.
yeah. Well, and I ain't no way I'm ever be as disciplined as you with the freeze packing it. Man, that's a lot. Like you are dedicated. Shout out to you. Cause that's like that's a whole nother level. Like I'm like, let me eat a little healthy little salad
Well, that's
while
the
I'm gone.
thing. That's
Shit, that's straight up
that's the thing,
relentless.
man. Like I'm training. Like my goal is to become a pro this year. Yeah, my goal is to become a pro this year. And then like the next goal after that, I mean, is always like a smaller goals, top five at a pro show, with like the end goal being getting to the Olympia stage. So, like these are the things that all of those other women that are competing are already doing. So it's like you don't operate at the level that you're at, you need to operate at the level you want to be at. So if I'm an amateur, like I'm not going to act like an amateur if I want to be a pro. Like I look at what the pros are doing. I look at how they look at their training. I look at how they look at their nutrition. I look at how they, tailor their lifestyle and their habits. And like if I want to be a pro, like that is what I need to do now. And so that's how I look at it and that's how I treat it.
Well, and that's phenomenal that you do that. That's really outstanding. And so that leads us to the topic of the week of this episode is doing it for the gram. What you just said though in like your last few seconds was like you study other people. So there's the positive side of doing it for the gram, and then there's a negative side of that. And so, I think the most positive thing is like people being able to see results and seeing, that, they can accomplish great things as well. But the hardest part about the gram is you don't see the work that goes on in the background, like meal prepping, what I'm saying, for travel and stuff like that. So what's your experience with, people doing it for the gram?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess like my experience with people doing it for the gram specifically, like honestly, like for the most part, I try not to like judge what other people are doing on Instagram. I am human. There's like one or two people out there that like I see it and it becomes very evident, but it's also like it's not my business and not my place. So like I'm trying to work on being better about, like the energy that I spend being irritated about that is less energy that I can use toward my goals. But like for me, I know I have the hardest time because I always think that the process is really cool, and I think it's very important for people to see the process behind bodybuilding, like all of it, full scope, off season, the dedication that goes into it, and then like your whole entire like in season, and for multiple reasons. So people do see the hard work that goes into it. They realize that like anyone can do it, but there's going to be work, and then to see the different phases, like there's some competitors that will put their shredded photos on 365 days a year. It's like they just have enough photos that like it lasts all the time. And I try to make sure that I don't do that. So like if I'm putting photos up, and I'm in off season, like I'm in off season, like you're seeing photos I'm usually taking like that day. Just because like I don't want to give the wrong perception of like that's what you should look like all year round. Because realistically, like as lean as I get for the stage, like that's not healthy. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would love to post a lot more on Instagram or on social media with more in-depth workouts and stuff. But honestly, man, I just don't. of all my priorities right now, like that's not one of them. And so the first thing to go, it's like, like I'm gonna video this or make this content, and then it's the first to go. It's like I get busy, and it's just like, no, this is gonna have to wait. So
And that's real because I think so when you talk about like the process, right? You are so in love with the process. And I think it's important to hammer home to people like the process is everything. The process is where you get the results. The process is where you get the ultimate happiness. Because I don't know if you get this feeling, but like at the end of the day, you built you. You know what I mean? Like nobody else built you, built who you were. Like, you got coaching, you got things, you got attributes. But when you build yourself, instead of buying things and necessarily throw on yourself to make yourself happy, it's just a totally different piece that's attached to that. And so that's pretty cool stuff. So I appreciate you sharing that. And so just real quick, um, how do you stay away from like getting bogged down by like likes and stuff on Instagram? Or do you even pay attention to that stuff?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that I haven't ever gotten to the point where I get bogged down. I catch myself even. I mean, there's even days like today. Like honestly, I'll be here, like I'll see something and then I get frustrated because it's like I'll have so many followers, but like it doesn't get that much reach. But then I have to think about it and be like, like Robbie, like who the fuck cares? Like you're still doing the work. Like you're still going to get this goal. Like what does it matter who's watching? Like that's not the point. Like you're not doing it for the clout. So I have to like, I have to check myself almost, you know, weekly, if not more often. And I mean, actually, I noticed too that like, I started getting sucked into talking to people on Instagram or posting or whatnot. This past week, I was like, I'm getting way too addicted to messing with my phone and, looking at notifications. And I literally put like a parental, you can do a screen time uh, thing to where you can set your phone to where it won't allow you on certain apps. Like you can pick certain apps that you need, and then the apps like are just distractions. And I set the time from 11 to 6. I started doing this yesterday. Um, just because I felt like I was getting way too addicted and wasting time like on my phone on social media, and it was hindering what I'm trying to do. So I'm like, I need to do something about it. And yeah, you can ignore your like screen time, like downtime or whatever. But the thing is like if I'm busy and I've got something to do and I reach for my phone and like that little timer pops up, I'm like, oh, like this is a reminder that like I'm not supposed to be doing this right now. Like I've got shit to do. And then I just put it back down.
For sure. And that's huge because
So
I've and just for the listeners out there, I found that, and you can probably contest to this. I found that when I turn off notifications for certain things, I get more time in my life, and so that's very
yep.
important to like accomplish the actual goals that you want. Because one of the worst things you can do is pay so much attention to the fitness and all that stuff online and get those good feeling endorphins and not detach from all that stuff and actually put in the work. So that's huge. So real quick, we got
Yeah.
our question of the day. So, should I do keto? What are your thoughts on keto, coach?
Mm. So considering I won't go super in depth with it, but considering that keto, I was reading, was made for people that have issues with seizures, uh, unless you're somebody that deals with that, uh, and you should talk to your doctor if you do. No, you should not do keto.
Mm,
um, your your body's got three different energy systems. Um, And the quickest production of energy is gonna come from carbohydrates.
mm,
So, fats are very, very dense. So they're very high in calories. It takes a really long time for the body to take a fat and turn it into ATP for energy, like basically turn it into like the energy compound. The body prefers carbohydrates, not to mention like it the brain functions with carbohydrates. So when
Mm.
you start doing like this real low carbohydrate, like you're gonna get brain fog. Not to mention too, like I mean, honestly, like from what I've seen too, there's a lot of people out there that are keto and they're just using it to basically do like an Atkins diet, and it doesn't get them anywhere. So
Okay. Okay.
no, I think that diet is very specific for a very specific population, and I think that should be something discussed with a doctor. But for the general population, I do not think keto is a good choice.
That's awesome, and I appreciate you sharing that knowledge and that wisdom because we got to be super, in, intentional about this stuff because these are our bodies, and also with like fat content, doesn't that like raise your cholesterol and like make your arteries like? Isn't there some like research in there with the arteries and stuff like that, like extra fat and stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, if you're taking in way too many calories, like one, it's going to get stored as excess energy, which is going to get stored basically like as fat mostly. Um, and then, yeah, like that can cause you to have higher levels of cholesterol. So, cholesterol itself is not actually like a bad thing. Like, it's something that's very necessary for the body. But, like anything else in life, is you can have too much of a good thing. Like you can have too much of cholesterol and then it becomes a very bad thing. So yeah, it's just not good for you. You need to have a nice balance, a protein intake adequate to whether your lifestyle or an athlete. Like athletes are gonna need more. And then, you know, you don't have to have like you can balance your ratio of carbs and fats if you want. I mean, if you don't like carbohydrates as much, you don't have to go full keto. You don't have to go like 0 to 100 with it. You can play with the carbohydrate and fat intake a little bit. So,
Okay, awesome. Well, that we appreciate you giving your advice on keto and setting it straight because a couple times I almost slipped into that keto pot. I'm like, ooh, bacon, right? So, but this will be it for episode 5. Tune in for episode 6 next time. We appreciate y'all, and make sure that you don't do it for the gram. Do it for you because we're talking fitness simplified, and we want to build a lifestyle and not just a moment. So, I'm Tommy,
I'm Robbie.
and this is Caver Conquer. Appreciate y'all.